Hi everyone, welcome. Today we're going to be building a door handle for our tool cabinet. We're going to use this metal rod to create a door handle. We need to make the brackets that attach to the door on the top and the bottom. That's what we're modeling. We're going to print them on the 3D printers in plastic. So let's get started. First thing I want to do is I want to save my file so I don't lose anything. I'm going to call this the tool cabinet door handles. Maybe I call it door handle brackets. I'm saving it in my location of tool storage. Save it in some location where you'll be able to find it later, but that's where it's going to be located. Click Save. And now we're going to get to some modeling. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to model it from sort of the bottom up. So we need to create sort of a rounded bracket that this is going to fit into, and then have some plastic that comes and connects to the door. So I'm going to create a sketch, and I'm going to create a sketch on the bottom plane, the base plane. I'm going to start by just sketching in a rectangle. I want it to be 4 centimeters wide. Wait. 5 centimeters wide, sorry. And I'll be modeling in centimeters today. I'm not going to put in this other side. I want to leave it flexible right now. See how it can move up and down? It'll get placed later. So the next thing I need to do is put a rounded end on it so that this can have a place to go into. So I'm going to come up here and grab my circle tool. I'm going to go to the middle, so where I see a triangle on this line is the middle. And I'm going to click, and then I'm going to click out here to the side to draw a circle from each of those 2 corners. Again, I'm going to hit escape to get out of that tool. If I grab it, everything can still move, and that's why it's blue, because things are still movable. I'm trying to grab it and move it. There it goes. I can still move it because I haven't set the height yet. I'll do that in a second. So this circle is kind of where the metal bar is going to go into this circle like this and sit there. I need to have enough clearance on this side, which is this area in here, so that my fingers can wrap around this space right here and grab onto it. I think I need about 3 centimeters from the bottom of this curve down to here for clearance. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in a construction line. And I'm just going to draw a random construction line right across. I just want to avoid grabbing onto the middle point right here. I want to be off of that, otherwise it'll be locked in place. I want to be able to move it still. Then I'm going to dimension it, and I'm going to dimension it from here to the bottom. And I need this to be, let's go 2.75. And now I want this circle to just barely touch that. That'll give me about a 3 centimeter clearance, because the bar is actually smaller than this big circle that's going to go on the inside in here. So that should give me about 3 centimeter clearance. To do that, I want this circle to come down here and just barely touch it. And what we do with that is called tangent. When we want a circle to barely touch something else, we use the tangent tool, and that's what tangent means. It touches it in one place. So I'm going to click on the circle, and then I'm going to click on the line I want to be tangent to, and it will snap them together. And notice now, because this line is a set distance away from the bottom line, and now the circle's on that line, the circle can't be moved. It's now black. So I hit escape, and I try and move it. It's not going to go anywhere. Everything's set in place. So that's really great so far. But so far, it's a little bit boring, because what we have here is like this sort of squarish, flat-looking thing. It's not very neat looking. So I'm going to go back to my top view here, and I'm going to add in some lines that go out to this edge down here. So I'm actually going to start the bottom corner here, just go out a little bit. Oops, turn my construction line off. I'm going to go out a little bit. It doesn't matter how far I go out. And then I'm going to come up here and connect to my circle, even like right there. What I really want to do is get it to where it is like, you know, connected to the circle, like over here somewhere. Not here though, because that'll lock it in place. Just like right up there. It doesn't really matter. And then I'll show you a technique for getting it to be just right. This way is the same way. I'm just going to go out here somewhere. It doesn't matter how far out I go. And I'm just going to get it on the circle, little X right there, like that. Well, right now, if you look at this, there's like a little kink right here. So see how the circle comes down and it just like kinks into the side? I want it to be perfectly smooth. So again, when I want a line to go perfectly smooth into a circle, I'm going to use the tangent tool again. So I'm going to click the tangent tool. I'm going to click on the line I want to be tangent and the circle. Those two things together, and it snaps it. Now if you look here, see how the circle comes down and it just like curves right into this straight line perfectly. Okay. And then over here, I'm going to click on the line and the circle, and it's also going to be tangent. And now when I go back, it's got this nice slope to it. Now right now it's too goofy and far out. We need to fix that. We only want there to be about a 15-degree lean in it. And that's a lean from 90. So 90 degrees is straight up and down. We're going to tip it down 15 degrees. And 90 minus 15 is 75 degrees. So we want this angle here to be about 75 degrees. To do that, we hit escape to get out of our tangent tool. Hit D for the dimensioning tool. And usually we use the dimensioning tool to measure stuff, like when we put this 2.75 in. But we can also do it to measure angles. To do that, we just click on one line. And right now it's set to measure that line. Then we come down here and we click on this other line. And now it's set to measure angles. So when you click on two lines that are connected like this, it'll set the angle. I'm going to click one more time to place the angle right about there. Looks good. And I'm going to call this 75. So 15 degrees down from vertical is 75. And that looks much nicer. And on this side the same way. So I'm going to click on the outside line, this bottom line, place my percent. So 3 clicks, outside line, bottom line, then one more click to put where you want to write the number down at. And then this goes 75 as well. And even better, what I could do is click on this one. If I double click, instead of typing in 75 degrees, I could just click on that one. It put in D3, which is this measurement, and now enter. If I were to ever change this measurement, say, oh, you know what, I wanted 80 degrees, it automatically changes that one. So that's one way to link your measurements, so you have to do less work changing them all. And it works great, especially if there's a whole bunch of them. So I'm going to put this back to 75, and there we go. So now I've got a really nice handle base here. So the metal bar goes into the screen like this, and this goes against the wall. So against the door, parts get screwed in against the door here. So now we're going to extrude it. And we're going to extrude all of these pieces. And we're going to extrude them up 10 centimeters. And now we have something that looks like this. So this is pretty sharp looking. I don't like it's a little blocky and squarey. Like I want it to have some more angles to it. Like I like this angle here to where it kind of angles down. So let's put that same angle in the back of it, under the bottom of it. To do that, we're going to use something called drafting. And what drafting does, let me find it real quick. There it is. Drafting takes an object you've made and it slants one side compared to the other. So you need to have two sides compared. Don't want to click on that side. I'm going to rotate this around a little bit so I can see. I want to be able to see this back flat side and then the bottom side. And I'm going to say face, so pull direction. This is kind of confusing what this means. I'm going to click on the bottom one first. Actually, let me do it wrong first. So I'm going to click on this face first and then this bottom face. And when I do that, look what it does. Oh, okay, so it's leaning the second thing we click on. And it's leaving the first one alone and making the second one do the angle stuff. So I don't want that. I want the opposite of that. So I'm going to unclick both of those. And now I'm going to click the pull direction. So that's the one that stays still. And then this is the one that does the leaning, the twisting in it. And somehow I got two faces in there. Let's take a look. Oh, I know I did. Okay, so whoops. Get that one out. Pull direction, the top one's this one. The faces is that one. And now I can adjust it. So I go back over here to take a look at what it looks like. This is in the wrong direction. I actually want to tip it back into itself. And I want to do 15 degrees again. That way it matches the side ones. I'm just going to click OK. And now we've been able to create this. Looks pretty nice. Boom, boom, boom. I like that. That's nice. And so now what we're going to do is cut the hole for our rod to go into. So that hole is going to go on the top face right here. We're going to click in the center of the circle. We'll know when we're in the center because it'll be like a little place center point here. That overlaps with the other one. If you drag out, you can see it perfectly lines up with the outside circle. But we don't want that. We want to go 3.35. That is going to be the diameter of the rod plus, 3.35. Enter. And now we're going to quickly extrude this. And we're going to extrude it down instead of up. And we're going to go 5 full centimeters. So -5. And it's set to cut, which is perfect what we want. And we're going to click OK. Now we have a hole. Boom. Now I kind of want to see what it's going to look like in reality. So I'm going to hit A for appearance. And I'm going to change the material type. So here I'm going to come down here and say, you know what, I'm going to make this out of plastic. Open up the opaque ones, texture, translucent, transparent. Where is it? Oh, here we go. It's in the opaque ones. I'm going to grab the red, matte red. I'm just going to drop it on there, and now this thing is red. So now I can kind of see the red plastic, what it's going to look like. I think I'm going to print mine in red. I don't know what you guys are going to print in. We'll see. Okay, so that's good so far. You know what? Actually, I'm going to undo that because we have more work we need to do. And if we have it red, it's going to be hard to see all the little blue and purple lines. So that was a terrible idea. We'll do that later. But at least now you know how to do it. So what we need to do now is make holes to put the screws through, because we got to mount this to the wooden door with screws. And I have the screws that we're going to use here, and I have all the measurements for them. The hole needs to be 0.37. That'll be just enough to let the screw get through. And we're going to create a sketch on, let me show you what side we're on. So there's the hole we had, and we're on this side creating a sketch. This is the side that goes against the door. Now, I don't want my holes to get inside, like they need to come through, but I want them to come through this area. So I need to know where that is. So what I'm going to do is tip it over the other way, use P for project, and I'm going to project this shape. You can see it drew it, this purple line down here. It drew it on my drawing, so now I need to stay out of this shape. And I'm going to click OK, rotate back around to my drawing, click on that front view, and now I'm here. Now I know that I need to keep my holes for my screw outside of this measurement. To do that, I'm just going to draw a simple circle here, and this circle needs to be 0.37 centimeters. Enter. And I'm going to do that in 3 places. One over there, one here, 0.37, and then one down here. So I'm going to grab one more circle. I'm going to put it down here somewhere. And we'll just go position them in just a second. So those are the 3 places we're going to put screws through. So I think what we're going to do is dimension this from here to, so from the circle to this line. So that's 2 clicks. The 3rd click, I come up here to the white space and click it in there. And we're going to do 0.5. And on this one, we're going to do dimensioning from here to the purple. And I think instead of, I'm going to click here, and instead of typing in 0.5, I'm just going to click on this 0.5. It puts D15, I push enter, and it snaps it to the same one as that one. Now this one's a little trickier. So this one, I want it to be 0.5 from a line that goes from this one to this one. And I can do that just by clicking on this, on the circle, click on this purple dot here, and now I can have it like this. I can, a couple choices. If I keep moving, it gives me this line. I don't want this dimension. I want how far straight down from it is. It'll also give me all kinds of like weird different dimensions. I want the one that's straight down from it like this. And I'm going to say, hey, I want that to be this same 0.5 up here. Enter. Now they're all set up at the same distance away from that curved surface. Now I need to set them up the same distance away from this outside edge, at least for those 2. These 2 need to be that way. So I'm going to dimension, circle, outside edge right there, and that's going to be 1.5 centimeters. Circle, outside edge, click on the left side, 3 clicks, 1.5 centimeters. In fact, I'm going to actually double click on this and then click over here. No, I don't want to do it that way. 1.5. I'm going to double click on this one because all of these are also done this way. I'm going to keep them consistent. And then click on that one, enter. That way if I change any one of these 3 things, all of these things change right away. Now the last thing I want to do is I can still move this. If I hit escape, it's blue, so I can still move it around. Like I can't move it up or down, but left or right I can move it. So I need to center it left or right. To do that, I'm going to say, easiest thing to do is come grab a construction line. I can find the center of this line by dragging over until I see the triangle. Whoop, there it was, triangle. And I'm going to drag a line straight up. Now I'm going to use what's called the coincidence tool, which means whatever the next 2 things you click on, they're going to line those 2 things up with each other. So I want to line up this circle with this line, and there it is. And now it's black because now it's fully constrained, so it can't move around at all. Now all I have to do is extrude these holes. I'll extrude this one, and this one. And then I'm going to tip it so I can see what's going on. And I'm going to pull the extrusion out the other end. Now, I don't need to over extrude like this. There's no real harm in doing it. There can be some problems sometimes. But so a better way of doing it than just blasting out the other side is to do all the way through. When you do that, it cuts a hole all the way through, but then stops at the surface. So if you've got other things out here that might get cut by this, you don't have that mistake of cutting too many things. So I like to use this all the way through for extent type. And I'm going to say, okay. Now we have holes that pass right through. Now this says this is the front, but for me that's weird because this is actually against the door. This side over here is more like the front. This is what you'll see when you walk up to it, right? You'll be like, oh, there's the bar going up this way. So I'm gonna actually rotate this around because right now for me it's backwards. So I'm gonna click back over to what's the quote unquote the front. I'm gonna click on that view. I'm gonna do a move command. I'm going to make sure this says bodies and not faces or anything else. Bodies. I'm going to click on the center here. Then I'm going to rotate up to the top view. And I'm going to take it and rotate it 180 degrees. Come on. Boom. Just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to tip it to the home view. Now this makes more sense for a home view for me. Like here's where the bar is going to shoot straight up out of the screen. And then this back side over here goes against the door. All right, awesome. So now what we need to do is we need to have room because our screw has a screw head on it. This hole is just big enough for the threads. So we need to cut a bigger hole that goes most of the way down so the screw head can fit all the way down in there and screw into the door. And we will do that at the beginning of our next video. Good job so far. Hang in there.